So let's skip over the wallet feature demos. We can do that at the end if people are still joining. Let's talk about the merge. Anything interesting from the wallet perspective? Anything you guys noticed or want to discuss? For the people who just joined, I'm open the floor for merge comments if anybody has any. If not, we can move on to Sam talking about an EIP governing how wallets manage in-browser sessions within their own app. No, he's not here. All right. This is looking like it's going to be a real short meeting this time. All right, so I guess the only other thing on the agenda before wallet feature demos is the EIP 5593, which a developer from the Brave wallet has raised. It's kind of a set of guidelines on when and how wallets should inject Window.Ethereum. I think it's a great opportunity for wallet developers to coordinate on an EIP, and I think it could really use input from you guys, which are all experts on the subject. So again, that's 5593. There's a link in the proposals chat. Yeah, that's it. Anybody have any features they want to demo? I'll take that as a no.
Hi, I actually
Hey.
wanted to. Yeah, hi. I'm new here. This is my first time actually.
Yeah, welcome.
So, should I just share the screen or like how?
Yeah,
how
go
is
for it. Yep.
So I've been working on creating an SDK for 4337. I'm working on. Is my screen visible?
Yep, looks good to me.
All right. So the idea is to allow people to actually be able to create smart contract wallets and support, like be able to pay, create paymasters and sponsor gas fees using EIP 4337, which is the future of wallets. All right. So this is a fair, simple. I just published it on NPM. I'll be updating this documentation and sharing it, so you can easily create your smart contract wallet using any owner. If you want to bundle some transaction, you can bundle transaction like this. So this will allow dApp developers to actually bundle multiple transactions, like approving and then transferring ERC20 tokens. Then if let's say you want to have gas list, then we are working on that as well, where you can just attach your paymaster here to the smart contract wallet, and once you have done, it will start sponsoring the gas fees. So this is what I've been doing. I have actually deployed a demo today. So once you connect the wallet, it will show you that hey, this is the owner. This is on Guerrilla testnet right now. So this is the owner. So I'm the owner actually. Then you'll get your smart contract wallet address. You'll get a deployment status. You can definitely do balance. So I have created a small app where you can actually test transaction, bundle transaction, and test sponsored transaction. I will be sharing the SDK and the docs with everyone soon. So I think this is what I wanted to show everyone what I've been working on.
That's really cool. That's exciting. So I may have missed it, but where's the this is for 4337, right? So what implements the relayer for this?
So currently, I'm using the ETH Infinity bundler, which is
Okay.
Deployed, like which is still in beta phase. So I'm using this. I'm using mostly this plus the the normal abstraction library. The idea is upon this, then I'll be adding multiple smart contract wallets and allow users to actually create new smart contract wallets and also sponsor gas fees. So the idea started with sponsoring gas fees, and currently it is changed or I would say uh, progressed into building an SDK so that anyone whoever wants to create a smart contract wallet can do it easily.
Cool. What license is this available under?
It is under MIT license, so it will
Oh,
be
nice.
available to everyone.
Now, is this something we'd want to put in like the like? Do you want to keep it separate as your own project, or do you want to maybe put it into the Web3 Well like common wallet organization?
I'll
Or do you want to keep
like
it as? Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll search about it. I think the project is still very early. The documentation are still sparse. I think once I do the documentation, I think within the next week, then I'll probably again reach you out for the edition.
Cool. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. This is going to be such a huge step forward in like user experience.
Yeah, I agree. Totally, I agree. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, thanks for coming out. It would have been a short meeting otherwise. Yeah, and we can just open it up for regular chat now, unless somebody else wants to talk about something in particular. But yeah, we can just hang out for a few minutes or take off. That's everything we have scheduled.
Sweet. How's it going?
It's good. It's been busy.
Okay, how so?
A lot of EIP stuff.
A lot
As
of
usual.
EIP stuff.
Yeah, like the Diamond Standard is coming along.
Okay. What's that?
Yeah, it's like a standard for composing multiple contracts together behind a single interface, like a facade.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool. I had a thing that might be interesting. For the ETH Online Hackathon, I've been helping out some hackers work on some projects. And a friend of mine actually, we had it on our list of like projects to build for hackathons. Started working on NPM package to classify Ethers transactions. I think I might be able to
classify.
Show it yes, to classify. Oh, I think somebody has an open mic. Mitch613. There we go. All right. So yeah, it's essentially an NPM package that turns any transaction into a standardized format, if that makes sense. So obviously, transactions are different with each wallet, and there's internal transactions, there's events, there's all sorts of weird stuff, but currently it's just limited to transactions. And the idea is that there's some wallets out there right now that have like super fancy features where if you, let's say, register an ENS name, it, instead of saying the transaction and the contract you interacted with, etc., it shows that, but it also shows registered loosements.eth, for example, right? So this is
so it kind of like decodes the transaction into like a
Yes.
human readable. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So it's one NPM package that you can like modularly pick and choose which things you want to support. And the idea is you can just give it a list of NF or of ENS of like other modules that are built, or you can build your own module, and then you can just throw transactions at it, and then it will either output an unknown transaction and give you the data back, or it will tell you exactly what transaction it is and do some fancy TypeScript magic to like IDE support and all sorts of cool stuff.
So how does it work? How does it tell what a transaction is?
Yeah, so it's dead simple. It's literally just doing a for loop essentially, and it's looping through all the modules and then running the module's functions to try and detect whether or not it belongs to that
I
module.
see.
Yeah.
Okay. So
every
something
module
I
is
think would be really exciting to come from this would be, and I think I might be mistaken, but it could exist already, but a standard way of describing transactions in like JSON. I think that exists somewhere.
Let me see if I can hop in here on my computer and do a quick screen share so you can see what I'm talking about.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Hello? I don't think this double thing's going to work really well. Can you hear me? And is my microphone not absolutely going to kill you?
I can hear you. It sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't see anything though if you're streaming yet.
Okay. 1 second. Let me see if I can do this. Or wait, that's just going to give that. I'm going to see if I can share just this then. There we go. Can you see my screen?
Yep, it's visible.
Yep. So this is the like GitHub repository. I'm going to see if I can just copy paste some of the code here real quick. Yoink. And then it should be able to do that. And then this would have ethers needed, I think. Is it ethers or ethers.js? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. The long story short is that you should be able to what's the ethers setup code? I don't know. That's just ether. Bingo. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so this should allow. I don't think that works. Lovely. lib/modules/ there we go. Does that do TypeScript? I don't know. So the idea is as follows. You specify the classifier once, right? So you say modules, and then you can specify which modules you want. So currently he supports ENS, Polygon, and Superfluid. So let's say I add Superfluid as well. Is this, are we going to auto format? Let's see. Let me quickly add some linting here so it's going to look nice. So essentially the idea is very simple. You take any transaction, so this could be looping through a list of transactions. I think this is registering our organization name on ENS. I'm not 100% sure. And then you just run the classify function that came from your builder up here. Obviously feeding it your ethers provider. So it's just a wrapper on top of ethers, basically. So if your library is using, there we go, is using ethers in the back end, then or in the front end or anywhere like that, you can use it like this. And then the idea is as follows, that now you can do data dot, and then you can look at the type, for example. Let's say I did a switch statement on that. It will autocomplete. So you'll see ENS, Polygon, Superfluid, and unknown. And then if I decide I want to get an ENS transaction, right? Because I mean, why not? And then in there, I wanted to switch on data action. I can go ahead and say, oh, in case it is an approve, a commit, a reclaim, a register with config, a renew, a safe transfer from, a transfer from, or an unknown, right? So in the event that somebody registers an ENS name, they can, show this component, blah, 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 blah. It's getting mad at me because the thing. And then for Polygon, it would automatically know that data.action. Sorry for using dark light theme, by the way. Let's see if I can do that. Maybe that's better on your eyes. And then for hello, computer has decided to die. There we go. For Polygon, it would show the other ones. Or not. I think it's breaking. Oh, I broke it.
So is this primarily a developer tool then?
It's purely a developer tool, yeah.
Oh,
so
okay, cool.
This means that currently what we're seeing is that a lot more wallets are implementing fancy parsing features, right? So the ability to see an ENS registration or see a transfer using the Polygon bridge, like in this case, a deposit ether, right? Or a deposit 4. But it will do all sorts of TypeScript generic magic and automatically use type narrowing to figure out when you're inside of the Polygon if statement or the quick case or whatever. It'll automatically adjust the types, and then you'll know that the data can only be, in this case, a Polygon transaction or a subset of the Polygon transactions, right? And you'll know that type will always be Polygon. So it does all sorts of fancy type narrowing. If you hover over this, you can see that it's either an ENS transaction, a Polygon transaction, or I think the Superfluid one is still glitched, but a Superfluid transaction or an unknown transaction. But say I didn't want to support Polygon for some reason, I could just remove it. And then it would immediately start complaining at me because Polygon doesn't exist and it's not a valid type. So I can immediately remove it. TypeScript will start throwing errors. So if you're using TypeScript in your project, you'll be smart about everything. And you can immediately see that now it's either an ENS transaction or a superfluid transaction. And say you don't like superfluid for some reason, you can just remove it as well. And now it's only an ENS transaction or an unknown transaction, right? So it does fancy TypeScript magic in the background.
That's
but that
really
doesn't
slick.
have any extra complexity. It's purely IDE integration, essentially, without needing any extensions or whatever, because it's TypeScript.
So,
Yeah.
so could you use this like not as a developer tool? Like, let's say you were writing your own Etherscan or something like that, and you wanted to show people what a transaction is. Yeah.
Yes. So the reason this was initially built is because like a lot of wallets out there are moving to like designing systems like these, but obviously it's an absolute pain to maintain a million different modules. And in addition to that, obviously every wallet wants to be the best, right? And that comes with some trade-offs. That means that some wallets will be closed source, some wallets will keep this code private in particular. So with ETH Classified, the goal is to just lower the barrier of entry to make a wallet with such fancy features and to allow any wallet to easily say, okay, yeah, we want to show a custom React component for ENS transactions or a custom component for superfluid transactions or whatever. So your transaction history won't just be, I talked to this address, I called this contract function, I did X, Y, and Z. It will be, you registered an ENS name, you did this unknown thing, but fine, we can't classify it because you sent money or something. And so it will just default to a regular entry, right? So it can make your wallet history or transaction history a lot more rich, if that makes sense, without requiring you to scroll down in the ENS docs and figure out what the freaking deployed address is on mainnet and what the address is on other chains and how this works and parse it all yourself, right?
So, how hard would it be to extract this into like an English algorithm and a database of transaction signatures?
Can't be that bad.
Because like if we can get to a point where like it doesn't matter what language you do it in, if you implement the same algorithm and you have this like maybe GPL signature database, then I think that would make it even easier for wallets to integrate it because they could use like TypeScript or Rust or whatever language they want to use and all share the same database.
Yeah. So the idea here is that anybody can just use this npm package. And
oh yeah, I'm just saying like a lot of like hopefully we expand beyond just JavaScript and TypeScript wallets in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. And hopefully that is the case. I don't think right now there are plans to build other stuff because we're addicted to TypeScript and this is our area of expertise. I believe me, if you drop me in a Rust code base, I'm gonna just sit there and go, okay, I don't know, thank you. But I'm sure there can be other initiatives, or we can turn this into a Docker container that can convert the transaction backend wise or stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Fuel a database or something like that. And it's over. They have there's some pretty okay documentation, including how to write your own module if you're like you got an NFT project or a smart contract project and you want to show it, right? And it's licensed under LGPL, which means that essentially anybody can use it as long as you use it as a library. If you make improvements to it, those must be done publicly and must be contributed or at least contain the original source, if that makes sense. Yeah. And this is a hackathon project, so I don't know how it'll end up, but it's pretty promising.
Can you show the code of one of your modules?
Yes. So they're not too fancy at the moment, I think. But let's have a quick look. The ENS one looks like this. So essentially, this is he made separate functions for the base registrar, for the reverse registrar, etc. But I think the bottom line is just exporting this. There's a check function and a resolve function. That's all you need to basically export. The check function just checks if it's not on mainnet, return false. And then if it's one of the ENS addresses, then return true, otherwise return false. This is simply just a quick match to see if it's part of ENS or not part of ENS. And then depending on which address it was interacting with, he does different parsing for each. right? So this way, anybody that has their own project, such as in this case, the ENS one, which is, I think, still written by him. I don't think we made this. You should be able to simply just write your own parsing logic here and output it to the user, and then TypeScript will magically figure it all out using the types. And then there is a types file that just contains the TypeScript types. I think this is a bit too explicit, but you can make it implicitly infer, so you can do all sorts of fancy stuff. Write these. And what's in here? He's storing ABIs in here. Okay. Yeah. So that's the ENS module. Let's have a quick look at the Superfluid one. I think he's worked on that a bit as well, and the Polygon one. Polygon one. Yeah, so the Polygon one as well has a Polygon module with check, and the resolve logic is all in here. And just outputs like that. So it's not that bad, honestly. It's 71 lines. And a link to
Yeah, it's very reasonable.
Yeah. And it also allows, I mean, there is some documentation here at the bottom on how to write one, because you have to just implement the check function and the resolve function. But the final idea there is that basically anybody can write their own module or directly like smack it in there, you know, like I did with the modules.polygon, for example. You could just put it right here or a variable to it or whatever the hell, and then it will run your custom code and do all that fun stuff. Yeah. So, anyhow, that's what I had to show. Thought it was cool. If you want, I can drop a list in one of the chats somewhere.
Yeah, if you want to post a link, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Awesome, thanks. What's everybody else working on? Anything interesting, wallet related? Well, I guess that's it. Thanks for coming out, everyone, and we'll see you in about a month.
Hell yeah, take care.